Thank you so much for joining us for another Cumberland Family Academy session. Cumberland Family Academy is a program of Cumberland County Schools. Our goal is to provide families with information and resources to support the education of their children. So let's go right into today's session, already in progress.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Let me see. All right, this is just kind of a quick overview of what we're going to go through tonight. And just a reminder of the guidelines, which Ms. George already kind of mentioned. Don't forget to sign in. And then I'll take all questions at the end. Definitely, if you have something you want to, write it down on a Post-it note or something so you don't forget. That's a great idea. But at the very end, we'll do questions. So first, we're going to start off this evening learning about some of our schools or districts programs. But let me tell you a little bit more about myself. My name is Megan McMillan. I'm our middle grades career development coordinator. So I actually work for all 18 middle schools across the district. But I also work with some of the elementary schools as well, because my position is really for grades 5 through 8. So I do some things with elementary students. And then I have a counterpartner who works specifically with the high school students. So that's a little bit about me. I used to teach a STEM course at Pine Forest Middle School, and then I kind of jumped into this role and have been loving it. I'm going to start this evening off just sharing some more information about our district's career development programs, and then I also want to guide you to where you can find more information on your own so that after this presentation, you can find it later. I'm going to spend the majority of our time walking you through our career awareness platform that is called Major Clarity. And that is something that is really going to, I think, be a great tool for you to work with your children at home. And just a quick reminder that, it's never too early to start exposing students to careers and allow them time to explore their passions and discover which pathway works for them. So here's a look at our model or career development continuum for Cumberland County Schools. In elementary school, we really want students to build an awareness of a variety of careers. We try to provide career fairs and guest speakers to create experiences where students can explore a multitude of professions. And then as students enter middle school, we are helping to identify their areas of interest by completing personality and learning styles assessments. We really try to continue their career exploration and lead them into making informed decisions about their high school course selections so that they can pursue some of their passions. And that we have a Students at Work program that all middle schools participate in, and that takes place every March. I also encourage all parents to invite their children to participate in the National Take Your Child to Work Day. Every year that happens, it's usually in April. I know this year it is April 22nd. And if you don't have kind of an occupation that allows, maybe you have a friend or a relative or a family member, it's just a great opportunity for students to kind of, explore some different careers and just expose them. And then as students move to high school, we are helping them learn about careers by providing more engaging and hands-on learning opportunities. We provide field trips, internships, and a variety of experiences to help students explore multiple occupations. And I also highly recommend that every parent encourage their high school child to get a part-time job. And it doesn't have to be anything serious. It could be, babysitting or mowing grass for neighbors. But it's really going to help students start to develop some of those soft skills that they'll need in their future. And I just want to show you real quick our career development resources. So if you have checked out our website anytime recently, you will notice that we had kind of a revamp at the beginning of the year for 2021. And I just want to direct you to, so under departments, under career and technology education, you will find our career development site. And again, this just kind of goes over some of our goals and has also my contact information, as well as our high school career development coordinators contact information. And we have a couple quick links I want to draw your attention to. So we have kind of all of our work-based learning opportunities listed here. We have something that we started to help with our virtual kind of work-based learning this year. So we have the Career Corner, and we actually highlight a variety of different topics every month. So we link these to our different North Carolina career pathways. And then underneath of these, you can actually find links to videos that we encourage students to watch, that we just kind of interviewed people in these different professions, and they're just kind of sharing a little bit about their career. Sometimes they take us on a virtual tour or do a quick demonstration for us. And so that is just kind of a look at this happening on the website. We do have internships, and we do run a summer internship program. We will probably have more information on the spring, but that's all, again, going to kind of be dependent upon our situation with COVID right now. As well as, so let me jump back to show you some other things here on our page. We'll talk about major clarity. This is where we're going to spend a lot of our time today. And I'm going to look through this website in a minute, but I have a little bit of information on there. If you're just, you forget kind of what we were talking about, you just need to know that information, you can jump back to that quick link on our website. And then we also have a partners page. These are just some of the businesses and partners that we work with, kind of listed over here real quick, that you can just, if you're interested to know some of the people that we partner with. And we also have a place where you can sign up to become a partner. So if you have a business, or you own a business, or work for a company, and they want to become involved with some of our activities that we're doing, definitely direct you to this page to sign up to work with us as a partner. All right, so I'm going to spend, as I said, the majority of our night talking about Major Clarity, which is a website that all of our students in grades 7 through 12 have access to. And it's really merging our kind of counseling, career development initiatives, as well as our CTE, to inform students about opportunities and support them in building out a plan of study that is reflective of their individual strengths, abilities, interests, and their long-term goals. And these are just some of the features that Major Clarity has to offer. So it has personality and learning style assessments. So students can kind of see some of the careers that fit with their interests and their learning styles. It has interactive content that includes career-based simulations and interviews with industry professionals. There's academic plans where the students can go in and kind of plan out something that really, meets their personal goals. Over $7 billion in scholarships for students, so they can look through all kinds of different scholarships, as well as a digital portfolio and an ability to upload documents. And then here, before I kind of begin showing you this site and directing you and guiding you through this, we'll do like a web walk. Here's just a look at how you can kind of use Major Clarity. So definitely tied into assisting your child with their academic and future planning. You could work with your child to explore a variety of careers. If you've got a high schooler that's getting ready to go into college, you can compare different colleges and universities, as well as find scholarship information for them, and really just as a whole prepare some future ready students. So at this time, we're going to kind of jump to the Major Clarity site. Now, sadly, you guys do not have accounts because you are not students at Cumberland County Schools, but You can certainly sign in as your child, but they all have accounts and can sign in with Google. And so the way that our county just does it, basically everybody has an account and they're just using that continue with Google button and then making sure that they are selecting their school account. So if you are signed in to another Gmail or Google account, it's going to block you and say that you don't have access. So just make sure that students are signing in with their own personal, or not their personal account, but their school account. And I'm going to take you there to kind of show you and share what that looks like. Now, I will say I'm going to go through kind of a lot this evening, and I want you to have some resources when you leave. So in the chat before the end, I will share this parental guide with you guys. And I think maybe I'll post it too also to our website when it's over, so that if you view this later, you can check it out under that career development and then major clarity quick link, so that you'll have access to it in the future and you'll know where to find it. But I just want to, this is going to have some tutorials and some kind of guides to go over anything in more detail that we maybe don't get to, or if you still have questions about in the future. So this is a look at major clarity. And like I said, for the login or sign up, it's really simple and easy. You're just going to click that continue with Google button. And then the students will select their student account. I'm going to choose this one for this evening because it's more reflective of what the students will see. And then I'm going to change my role to the students. The teachers all have an admin role, so they can actually see kind of, they can add students to their admin side and kind of see them, what their pathways they're interested in, and kind of follow along with some of their goals and things like that. All right, so this is a look at major clarity. And basically our navigation is all happening over here on the left. Each of these is basically taking you, is like a menu option and taking you to something different. Sorry for just a second. Okay. So we'll start, the students typically are going to start by being prompted with completing what we call the personality and learning styles assessment. And I'm going to reset these so you can kind of get an idea of what these look like. And this is something that the students are working on in school with, at the middle school level, typically it's with their guidance counselor or our CTE teachers. And at the high school level, it could be the CTE facilitator, the guidance counselor, or again, a lot of the CTE teachers are working with students with this as well. This is relatively new, so we started using Major Clarity last year, and we kind of had like a pilot year, and we were focused on our 8th grade and 9th grade students. So if you have a 9th or 10th grader, they should have, if they were here last year, they should kind of know or have some awareness of major clarity. So this is a look at the assessments, which is where our students start off in middle school. So this is where I talk about kind of having students kind of start to learn a little bit about themselves, a little bit about their interests, a little bit about their personality, and also their learning styles. So this is a quick kind of 48 question personality assessment. And as the students kind of go through, they can kind of click yes, no, maybe to these different questions. And we do have a lesson that kind of goes through this with the students and also shares with them the what each of these personality assessments means. So I'm just going to jump through real quick and get to the end. And this actually aligns with the Holland codes. So you'll see at the very end, you'll get percentages, and then the students can click on the I, and what they can see then is they can basically learn more information about what this personality type is. So a realistic person, they can kind of get a good description of that, and again, they'll have different percentages tying them to all the different personality assessments. And then we have the learning styles assessment over here. And same thing, once the students complete these questions, they're going to get a percentage at the end. And they can click on this I and read about this question.
We want to hear from you. Have you heard of Cumberland Family Academy? We have a program here in Cumberland County Schools that is specifically for our families. We want to continue providing you with information and resources to help you become full partners in the education of your young people. So, what we need you to do is visit our website and complete a brief survey. As we're thinking about programs and information sessions and offerings for families, we want to hear from you. What topics would be most helpful to you? What would you like to see? What times should we offer them? We want to tailor our resources and information sessions and everything for families around what you need and what you desire. I promise it will only take 10 to 15 minutes. Visit the link below, complete a brief survey, and help us help you help your child succeed in school and ultimately in life. Thank you.
All right. So that's just a look at the assessments. What happens after the students complete the assessments? And this is where, as parents, this is a really great kind of opportunity for you to explore some careers with your students. So they've completed the assessments. What they're going to get paired with now are these fit scores. And the fit scores are just kind of giving them careers based on how they performed on those assessments that are just kind of aligning careers that kind of match their personality and learning styles. Now, I will say a lot of students will go through and be like, I don't like psychology. But this is still an opportunity for students to at least explore that career, make sure they really don't like it. But I always like to remind our students that, you know, even still having a 76% fit score is not like it's a, like you can only view the careers that are, you have a 90% fit score with. That's not it at all. It's just going to start, this is just kind of the start off point based on your assessment. Now, one thing about major clarity is kind of the more data that you input into it, the more time that you spend on it, the more things that you like and favorite, the more careers that it will kind of match and pair a student to, so that they kind of get, it's almost like, you know, any other social media out there. The more you start to like things, you're going to start to get more, you know, advertisements and things that match your interests and your through this platform. So let's just take a look at one of these careers. So I'll click on medical services. So under each one, they'll get kind of a description of what this is, what cluster, career cluster it falls under. And then they also have the option to watch an interview. And these are just quick little interviews of somebody that is working in the medical services industry. And at the very end, they can score their fit. So after they watch this, they can say, oh, like, I really enjoyed this career. This sounds like something that's really for me. Or nope, I don't like this at all, bad. So it's kind of, again, looking for student input and what their feedback is. Let me see if I can click this back here. There we go. All right. There's also an activity under each of the different medical services. Or I'm sorry, each of the different career paths, there's a activity for the students to complete. And they're all different and kind of tailored to really give the students a taste of what this career field looks like. So this, again, tie it into maybe something that you do personally, go through with your son or daughter and try out maybe something that's in your profession. You can search and see if you can find your career and do the activity and see if it, you know, aligns to some of your daily work. And the students can just kind of go through and test out this career. And again, when they get to the end, they try to do different scenarios and all kinds of interactive, things or activities for the students to go through. Let me jump back to the medical but you'll see too, if you scroll down, there are quite a few career options that are listed here. And I'm going to just stick with medical services to show you a few other features that students can explore here. So they can also search for occupations based off of the degree that they're looking to pursue. So if they know that they do not want to get a doctorate or a professional degree, they can uncheck that, and now it's going to filter out any of the careers that would require that. If they do not want to get a master's degree, again, it's going to filter out all of those. If they don't want to go on and get a post-secondary degree, it's going to filter those out. And maybe they only would like to get an associate's degree. Again, you'll see that it has filtered out all of the other options for that student. So some students can search kind of that way. And then each of these careers they can click on and learn a little bit more about this specific job or role. This is based off of our local North Carolina labor data input. So all of these are should be close to our zip code as possible. And they get kind of the common tasks, the work styles, also the abilities and the knowledge that they would need, as well as other related careers. So they can check out some things that are similar to this. And then as far as, like I said, favoriting and liking things, if they click on this star up here at the top, that's basically letting building a list of their favorites. So that's just a look kind of here at the career exploration real quick, just kind of what they can do. Students can also search for a specific career. They can search by their strengths. So if you have a student that's, really good in math, they can kind of click that, and now it's going to show careers that are, requiring kind of strong math skills. And then any of those filters they can just click off. All right, so that's a look at kind of the assessments and the career exploration. And this is where we're really working with middle school students and trying to get them kind of honed in on one pathway or one kind of branch that they'd like to explore, so that as they begin their 9th grade course selection, they kind of have an idea of a pathway that they'd like to go down. And I'm going to jump back real quick and show you this. So they also have the feature and the option to kind of plan out their 4-year plan in major clarity. And it starts really by choosing what school that they want to attend. So because we are school of choice and the applications are actually quickly approaching the deadline here, I believe it's the end of January, but students can choose to go to a variety of different high schools. So they'll start by choosing which high school they plan to attend. And then what's going to happen is it's going to then filter out and show the student what pathway options are available there. And it kind of gives a description. And this is really just aligning a lot to the students' elective choice offerings. So we just want the students to really be a little bit more aware of some of the things that are offered at our different schools. And if they're interested in a specific pathway, making sure that they're aligning their schedule to really pursue the classes and offerings that match that pathway. So once they've chosen their pathway, and they can always go back and click that change pathway button, then they can start kind of looking at planning out their course schedule. And if they click this little plus sign next to each of the, you'll see that here's kind of what they need to choose for each year for their schedule. And then the plus sign allows them options to choose the other courses. So maybe they're in a different math course or they're looking for an honors course. They can also type in the box and search for other specific maths that might not be appearing here on the left-hand side. And then, like as I said before, it's really aligning to whatever their pathway choice is, aligning to kind of the elective choices. So when they see this, it's going to start to give them kind of those foundations for, I believe this is the collision repair course. So if they were interested in that, they can choose that as their kind of foundation pathway elective. And they can really go through and try to map out the next 4 years if they wanted to. And at the bottom, there's a graduation tracker, just kind of letting the kids visually see as they complete each of those courses, kind of their completion rate down there. And as parents too, you can also download, and students can look at the actual recommendations here, what credits they need to graduate on time. So that's just kind of look at the academic planning, and this is something that students will be working with their counselors with in completing, especially now that we're virtual. They will certainly be taking a look at their academic planning through Major Clarity this year. All right, so post-secondary exploration, this is where it's definitely geared more towards our high school students, absolutely, but middle school students can still certainly go through and explore some of these colleges and universities. But I just want to kind of walk you through some of the tools and things that the students have the option to explore under the post-secondary exploration. So right now it's filtered for North Carolina, but you can certainly change that state. And there are a bunch of filters here as well. So students can really kind of filter out if they have a specific score that they scored on ACT, SATs, they can search for that. If they're looking for a specific type of school, technical or 4-year school, they can search that way. If they're looking for specific athletic programs, they can search that way. So there's a lot of filtered options here that the students can go through and kind of select to just kind of filter out those options to weigh out, you know, some of their college choices. And then each of the schools they can click on, and it will take you to their website so they can view kind of that school's website. They can even calculate the cost. They can also look at the programs that are being offered there, and typically which programs of degree is being awarded the most. So you can see social sciences is a big degree there. Look at kind of admission rates, graduation rates, what they need for SAT scores, and just some other information, costs, debt, salary, things like that. Just a great resource, I think, for everybody that's looking for post-secondary information. And then if they do like this school, they can again star that. And then I do want to show you another great tool that's under the post-secondary exploration, which I'm going to have to move this video if I can for a second. It's right in the way. All right, there you go. So there's a comparison tool up here on the right-hand corner. And any of the schools that the students have starred, so they do have to star them, then they can use this comparison tool. If they haven't starred anything yet, then this tool might not be visible to them. So they have to have at least 2 selected. And once they have starred those schools, what they can do is then kind of compare them side by side on this screen, and just, I think it gives you a nice little overview of kind of, you know, different things like the out-of-state tuition, in-state, things like their typical monthly loan payments. So it's a great way to kind of look at some schools side by side. And then obviously this is definitely helpful for all parents, financial resources, right? We all want our students to get, you know, as many scholarships and other financial resources that are available to them. So here under the financial resources, there's over 23,000 scholarships that are listed. And again, students can use this filter button to search for different scholarships. So they can search for contests, they can search for grants, they can search for loans, all kinds of things that they can search for. They can search by amounts and other things like GPA. And then here's just kind of a list, and it gives you kind of a description, and then the students can actually go right to the apply button, and it will typically take you to the link to the school where it's kind of posted and more information about that specific scholarship. So definitely helpful. And again, the students can kind of go through and star and create a list. And that's nice because if you find one and you star it, then you can go back and click this favorite box, and then it's going to filter out and only show the ones that you have starred. So that's definitely helpful if you have someone that's kind of going through and trying to create a list. Definitely star the financial resources or scholarships that they're interested in. it does take a while to filter those out because there are so many. All right, there's also a resume builder in here. So we always want to, be sharing with our students how important it is to kind of, build a resume and also learn those skills. So here in the resume builder, it's basically prompts the student for the information that they will need. So it kind of gives them these pre-filled boxes, and if they go right down kind of the right-hand side, they can add in their experience. And again, it's going to give them these boxes kind of prompting them for the information that's required. And as they go through and enter in all of this information and kind of their skills, as well as their contact information, at the very end, they'll get this option to view their resume, and it will actually put it in the correct format for them to view and print off their resume. So it's really a very helpful tool to kind of get students, give them the skills that they need to build a resume properly. There's also a place to add in cover letters. So if they wanted to develop a cover letter, they can do that here too. And again, it's going to talk about their name and prompt them for kind of the information and then kind of the body of that cover letter. So just trying to expose our students to resumes and cover letters. There is a work-based learning that's tied into this. Now, we do not really have a lot of local opportunities. This is something, again, I'm hoping that we can really use in the future. We do not really have a lot of work-based learning opportunities happening right now, sadly, because of COVID. But there are some internships that are listed here. So if you do have a student that is possibly going to a school, most of them are in the larger cities, though, Raleigh, Charlotte, but they are listed here. It's an option for students to kind of look and go through. All right, we also have the application center. So this, to me, is a fabulous tool for those students that are getting ready for their post-secondary and filling out those applications. So what the students can do is they can actually kind of go through and add an application to the tracker. So they can go through and kind of select what schools that they are interested in. And then they can rank it as what choice the school is. This is maybe their second choice for school. What the application type is. They can kind of select that. And then the application status, have they started it? Are they just interested in it? Have they applied and submitted it? So we'll just say that they've started it, and then they can kind of check mark the things that they have done or the things that are required to submit. The deadline that they need to get this in, and then just kind of go through, and then their decision. I'm going to click save at the bottom. And then what it will do is it's going to build a list here of kind of their information. They can also request recommendations. So right here, let's see if it pops up. It should populate here in a second. I'm just thinking. I don't know, it's not popping up, but typically it pops up and the students, it will send kind of an email to their counselors, and they can add in any teachers, and it will just prompt them to complete a recommendation for that student. But they can also kind of go back through and look at the required materials, completion materials, and make sure that they have completed the things and submitted the things that they need to, as well as financial aid. So all students should be completing the FAFSA form. That's definitely helpful when they're getting ready for post-secondary, see if they can get any of those grants that are available to them. And if they click this link right here, it will take them right to the site to complete the FAFSA form. So all located right here in Major Clarity. They don't have to go searching for anything. Trying to remember a website, everything is located all here in one place for students. There's also this My Career Plan, and this is something that you could definitely sit down with your son or daughter or child and talk about, what's your career plan? What are you looking right now to pursue? You know, and this is something that can obviously change and grow with any student, but it's a great place to start, maybe even at the middle school level. You know, what are you interested in? What are you passionate about? And just kind of carrying that through. Well, okay, if you know, if you're really interested in medical, then you're probably going to need some schooling. Are you thinking kind of your standard? Obviously, we need to get our diploma from high school. And then what's our post-secondary goal? Do we want to do a 2-year school and maybe just get an associate's degree and then work your way, you know, right into the medical field after that, jump right into the workforce? Absolutely, we got students that do that. And then also kind of keep track if they have, you know, other diploma things that recognitions or endorsements that they're looking for, or any students that want to jump into the military branch. Clubs and activities, definitely something that we want to remind students to start listing their involvement in clubs and activities, and just a place for students to record that information. And it is synced with some of the clubs that are here at Cumberland County Schools. So the students can kind of just click and enter in some of those clubs and activities. And then as they get into high school and complete their ACT, SAT, and PSATs, they can record all their scores here, save it all in one place, and this goes with our students. It syncs with PowerSchool, so as long as our students, which they should all be entered in PowerSchool, it syncs every night with that, so the data is up to date, and if students, you know, move from one school to the other, it will follow with them as well. And then workplace readiness, we do have a lot of CTE classes that offer industry credentials, so again, they can keep track of those credentials that they have earned and save that information. So that's just kind of a look at their career plan. And then lastly, this is sadly only for our high school students, but that's because it is definitely a little bit more advanced. But Major Clarity does offer, this is like a new feature for free for our students, which is fabulous, these micro-credential courses. And they're typically kind of like a 3 to 4 hour course, and they might take students a little bit longer to complete, depending upon, you know, kind of the effort that they put into it. And these are partnered with different universities or business industries, and these are kind of the 4 that they have started with. And I know that they plan to add more in the future. I think some of the medical services was kind of coming next, and they're just going through and kind of picking a lot of the most popular career choices and developing some of these micro credentials for students. One that is absolutely great for all students is this general employability and soft skills. And it's kind of partnered with the National Technical Honor Society. And what the students can go on is basically click through this course, and they will find all of these different modules. So growth mindset is the first module, and then under the module are all the competencies. And it's definitely designed to be very variable learning for the students. So there's all kinds of matching activities, and there's flashcards and scenario-based ways for them to kind of learn and really fully kind of understand each of these modules. And there's quite a few modules going through, you know, self-awareness, workplace ethics, problem solving, decision making, becoming articulate speaker, effective writing, empathy and awareness, network, team player. And once they get through all of those different modules, there is a final exam, and I believe they have to get at least an 80% or higher in the final exam, and they'll earn their micro-credential. So it's a certificate that they can print out. They can add this to their resume, add this to their college or university application, you know, that they have the micro-credential in this. And on the certificate, it's kind of like a 2-part certificate. The first one kind of is their name and just showing that they've completed this micro-credential course. And then there's a second page to the certificate that has a little bit more information about what the micro-credential is that they've just earned. So if they want to show it to a place that they're looking maybe to get employed, they can definitely share that with them, and they can kind of read and understand what this micro-credential is and means, as well as on that there's a QR code that a business or employer, potential employer, could scan to learn more information about. All right, so this is just kind of a quick overview of Major Clarity and all that it has to offer. And I just want to kind of reinforce as parents that, you know, students really need a lot of exposure to a variety of careers. You know, they only know what they know, what they've been exposed to. So if they only know 5 careers, you know, there might be that perfect job that's out there waiting for them, and they have no idea that it even exists yet. So I think a big part of parents and even us as educators is to really just expose the kids to all of these careers so that they have that awareness and they can really find a job that meets their passion, and they can really pursue that and make it a career for themselves. So again, just going through this website with your own son or daughter and walking through some of these listed careers here and just exploring it is a great place to kind of get started and just begin that discussion with your child about, hey, what do you want to do when you get older? So I do, as I said before, I wanted to share this parental guide. So I will put this link in the chat, but before I do, I'm just gonna show you kind of real quickly what that looks like, and then we'll get to any of your questions. So on this Google Doc, and I hope that it works, and I said earlier, I'll post this also on our website too, so you guys can see it there. There's kind of just a guide to show you, again, overview if you get stuck on how to get logged in. I know that can happen. Or you just want to remember, wait, which one could they build resumes under? This is just kind of a description of what each of those different menu tabs is and does. And then over here on the right, I just have created a bunch of different video tutorials walking you through the navigation of Major Clarity so that hopefully you feel comfortable kind of using this at home with your son or daughter. All right, so I'm going to put this in the chat and then we will get to any of your questions that you might have. And you can put your questions, I think, also in the chat. So we'll kind of get to that point. And I'm gonna, let me see. I can enter the chat. All right. Paste this in here so that you guys all have access to that parental resource guide. Yes, students do have access to this beginning in 7th grade. Yes, it's definitely a great opportunity to earn those credentials. Super excited about those. Those are brand new. They just released them in January, so I'm excited to see them on there now.
So Megan, there was a comment earlier about who has access to this. So this is for all 7th graders in Cumberland County, all students in Cumberland County beginning in 7th grade, correct?
Yes, they already have an account. Every 7th grader, every 8th grader, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grader has an account to Major Clarity currently. They actually did have them last year. I saw one of the parents say, I wish they had this last year. They did, but again, it was our pilot year. So we were kind of focused in on the 8th and 9th grade students and kind of figuring out how we get them introduced and on this platform. So this year we're focusing more, and we just really want to spread the word and you know, share this with you parents so that you know about it and can share this and work with your children on this platform.
Thank you so much for watching today's Cumberland Family Academy session. If you enjoyed today's session, be sure to visit our website listed below. On the Cumberland Family Academy website, we have numerous other sessions available to you, our families. Remember, our goal is to provide you with information and resources to support the education of your child. Thank you again for watching. Have a great day.